Welcome back everyone to another Coach Blaker video. Today we're going to be going over the top 3 best champions for each role. Now a couple roles do have some honorable mentions, but for the most part the top 3 champions are going to be what's going to be your key to success. My top 3 are not like op.gg's or u.gg's or even Mobalytics, whatever you guys use. They are champions that I would play or that I have played to climb with and that I think are good right now. It has nothing to do with pick rate, has nothing to do with win rate, has nothing to do with any of that. These are basically champions that will do well in scenarios, whether you play well, whether you don't. Some champions you don't even have to play well and they'll just be functional. So stay tuned if you guys are interested in the top 3 best champions to climb with. Now I'm going to be going from top lane all the way to support. There will be timestamps down below, so feel free to skip around if you would like. Like I said, there'll be a couple of honorable mentions, but for the most part, the top 3 will be your best bet. And if you guys would like coaching, coachblaker.com, link description below, is where you want to go. Use the code FIRST to get $5 off your first coaching session. If you've already been coached by me though, it's not going to work. So remember, it has to be your first time ever being coached by me. One thing to keep in mind, these are in no particular order. One of these 3 are not better than the other 3. So I just want you guys to know that it's just, I picked them. So first up we have Aatrox. Aatrox is a really good top laner. He does a lot of damage. He has a lot of sustain. He has the ability to actually just completely win his 1v1 and just turn fights hard carry as long as you can play Aatrox. Now he is a little bit difficult and takes a little time getting used to, but he definitely is not that hard to play once you get used to him. And he is very, very good, especially if you start snowballing. You can build Gore Drinker, he can build Eclipse, he can build Strike Breaker. I mean, he could pretty much be very diverse in terms of what he needs to build, and he's very, very strong as long as you are hitting your Qs. On top of that, he does get a buff when you ult. So I mean, this champion's just nutty. The second one is Gnar. Now Gnar, you might not see too much of him, but he actually is a really, really good champion. He's kind of the all-rounder of top lane. He can split push, he can duel. When he's little, he has range. When he's big, he has melee. He can tank when he's bigger. He's very, very good at winning his lane. He's very, very good at beating everybody 1v1. It's very hard to catch that champ, and it's very hard to kill that champ. And then the ability to just team fight and wombo combo champions into walls, especially into a meta where things are very dash oriented, where like one wombo combo into the wall, everything explodes. He's a very, very solid pick, and he's very, very safe. If you ever get ganked, you just hop away and it's fine. Nothing really happens. So that's why I think that champ is very, very good. He's already strong. He's very hard to kill. He's very useful whether you need him to split push or whether you need him to group up with the team. He's just, like I said, all around good. He's harass. He's like Teemo, but like Ornn at the same time. It's nuts. I think that's a very, very good champion. The last one here we have is Mordekaiser. Now Mordekaiser is very, very strong, very, very easy. He's an AP champion. The reason why I put him on this list is because once he gets items, he is very hard to kill, especially if the champions don't get sash. So the lower elo you go, the less he's sashed out. Therefore, you can get a lot of free kills. And if they do buy a sash, you're still putting them in debt of 1,300 gold that they have to spend on a sash, which is only magic resist and to exit them out of the ult. Now, when Mordekaiser does ult you, he keeps those stats for the remainder. Even if you're sashed out, he keeps those stats. The only difference is if you kill the target, he doesn't keep them anymore. So the initial stats on that ult, he still does keep, and I believe your stats are gone too, even if you do exit out that ult until a remainder period is left. And then I'll go back to normal. But the reason why, like I said, I put him on this list is he's very, very easy. You don't even have to land skill shots. As long as they are melee champions, you literally can just walk at them. The only issue he has is being kited. So if you think there's a chance like the whole entire team is ranged, well, you might not want to pick him unless you're confident of landing skill shots. Once he's on top of you, they're done, especially if you get rivalized. He's a champ that can just build straight tank. He can build off tank. He can build like squishy. It doesn't matter. The champ's ridiculously strong, and that's why I think he's there. He's strong. He's easy. What more do you want? I will say there's one honorable mention, and it's Ornn, but Ornn is not too difficult, and I didn't really want to put him there because you can't really carry with Ornn. He's just a tank, so you know, more or less. All right, so let's move on to the jungle. Without a shadow of a doubt, we have Kayn up first. Get it? Because the blue form is shadowless. I'm sorry, it wasn't a joke. I just threw it in there. Okay, so Kayn is just strong for a lot of weight. He is a champion that can just deal with everything. There's not one champion in the game that makes Kayn unplayable. He is good into everything. You need an assassin, he can go assassin. You need an off-tank assassin, he can go off-tank assassin. You need a frontline assassin, you go Ross. If you need a frontline bruiser, you go Ross. You need a tank, go Ross. Like, the champ can do everything. He's very, very efficient on farming. He's actually quite strong early, even though, you might think he's weak without form, which he is undoubtedly weaker without form, but he's not. You could still get kills. Like, he's still that good. He can go through walls, he can farm well, he does damage. Once you get your form, you just kind of take off in terms of, like, once you get your form, it's usually game. So as long as you keep a lead, he is a very, very hard champ to lose with when you are ahead, which is why I think that champion is just very, very good. It's to the point where I permaban him. I like playing Udyr, and playing Udyr into that champ is unwinnable. Like, you can win, don't get me wrong, but if he goes Ross, it's kind of unwinnable. Unless he's dumb. But for the most part, even if you're dumb, you can still pilot that champion. A lot of players will autofill and they'll play Kayn because Kayn's that easy and he's that strong. Now, he has the W skill shot you got to land, but right now he's a little bit overtuned. So even if you miss your W, as long as you can, Q them, you're good to go. The downside to Ross is that if they're not melee, you're going to have a hard time because he needs to be able to hit multiple targets in order to get the heal off. If he can't, you're going to be in trouble. That being said, though, there are ways around that, and he still has good sustain. As far as Blue Kayn goes, obviously into tanks he's a little bit rough, but then again, there's answers to dealing with that too. So, like, hey, that champ is really, really, really good. I highly recommend. Next, we have Wukong. Now, Wukong's early game is pretty decent, but the thing that makes Wukong a problem is his Q, which I believe it lowers the resist. I forgot what the wording is, but basically the resistance gets lower, so he does a lot more damage to you. Pair that with Black Cleaver, good luck. And then as far as his ultimate goes, it's a double knockup, and you can have a clone and yourself knockup, so it's a bigger AoE knockup. You get movement speed off of that knockup. On top of that, you can go invisible. On top of that, you can go over walls. On top of that, your passive allows you, as there's multiple champs around you, you get bonus armor and bonus HP regeneration. What? Bro, these champs, they're nuts. I highly recommend Wukong. He's a very, very good mid, and he's extremely good late. He's not a champ that falls off because of that Q, and he will one-shot anything. Like I said, your early game is a little bit kind of it's decent, but for the most part, you're not really gonna pop off until you got your R. But once you get rolling, it's a wrap. It's a game over. It's very, very hard to lose with Wukong especially if you have a lead. And even if you don't have a lead, you're extremely useful to your team. You just press R. So, highly recommend that champion as well. Last up, we have Diana. Now, with this new tank Diana thing, she's really, really hard to kill, period. I mean, she's already hard to kill if you don't go the tanky route, but you can go the new tanky route, and my god, she still does a lot of damage. You can int and she'll still do a lot of damage. It doesn't really matter how good or bad you are, she'll do a lot of damage. She's extremely strong mid to late game, and all you need is that R. You are at the right time, you can win your team-to-team fight. So, I mean, not really much to say about Diana. She's basically the AP Wukong. That's the best way I can put it. She's the AP Wukong. And now for honorable mention, we have Fiddlesticks. Now, Fiddlesticks is very, very weird, and is hard to get used to. He is. But I promise you, if you ever want to main this champion, now's the time. This champ is extremely strong. He farms super fast, like super fast. The downside is, it's kind of weak early, don't get me wrong, but if you path properly, it's not going to be a problem. He just got increased fear on his Q. On top of that, he's a champ that can go over walls and feel the fear of the whole team. The champ is nuts. He's really, 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 really good, but you have to know how to play him, which is why I think he is as strong as he is, because there's not many players that know how to play him properly. You're going to have to learn how to clear properly. You're going to have to learn how to gank properly. You're going to have to learn how to path properly. You're going to have to learn a lot of these things in order to play Fiddlesticks, but he is extremely strong if you do learn how to do so. CoachBugger.com if you want to figure it out. Hey, I'm just saying, I'm plugging a little bit. So for mid lane, we have up first Seraphine. Seraphine is completely broken right now, and she can be played in all three roles. She's ADC, support, and mid. She's extremely, extremely, extremely broken. So let me explain. She can shield her team. She can heal her team. She can give her team a movement speed buff. She has a snare. She has a slow. She has a charm. She has a stun. And I think that's pretty much covers it. Oh yeah, she has damage. I'm sorry. So let me explain kind of in order why she's so good. Her wave clear is extremely good. You're not going to get dove ever. Ever, 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 because you clear so quickly. You can keep the enemy under your tower. She's very team-oriented. Like I said, she has stuns. Now, if you guys didn't know, her E slows you. The empowered E will snare you. Whatever's slowed when she throws the second wave, or the first, if your teammate slows, whatever's slowed, she will snare. Whatever's already snared, she will stun. So you can kind of see what this is a problem is, right? If she manages to get rylized, your one E, your one wave will snare the target. Your second wave will stun the target. So you perma snare already with rylized, and then if you can power E, you're stunning them. On top of that, you have a charm. If you could just, and there's a lot of fights that happens, especially on Mountain Dragon. There's a lot of fights that happens in small corridors. All you have to do is wait for that to happen, press R, and you will win your team the team fight. It's that easy. You don't even have to be really good. You don't even have to be fed. She is that dang strong to where she can be played in all three of those roles. That's why she's good. Really good wave clear. She's very team friendly. She has good damage, even though she's, you know, a team-friendly champion. And her impact in fights is ridiculous. She is really strong right now. And for those of you that are not sure what you want to play, I promise you that is not a wrong choice. Undoubtedly, I think one of the most broken champs in the game right now. Next, we have Ahri. Without really much to say about it, it's just, you know, Ahri's Ahri. She has dashes, she has charms, very good pick champion, a very safe champion. Not really much to say. Just Ahri's always been kind of a staple, kind of top threer, honestly, in my opinion. Next, we have Sylas. Now, Sylas is really, really good as well because he has a lot of early game damage. And if you're very good at being aggressive early, he's very, very rewarding as long as you do it properly. He's very good roaming with his jungler. He's pretty much very good at everything as a melee. The only problem is he is very susceptible to being punished to poke. But again, his all-in potential is so high that even if you are getting poked out, if they overstep just a little bit, you're insta-killing them. He's that good. His sustain with his W is extremely good. He can take ults, and especially if the team has very, very good ones, it's really useful. He's in a really, really, really good spot right now. And again, I suggest you give him a try, see if you really like him. Honorable mentions for mid lane here, though, are going to be Zed, Akali, and Cassiopeia. Now, these are three very good champions, but they just require skill to play. But if you learn how to play them properly, you will be rewarded tremendously, like tremendously, because those champions are very, 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 very good. As long as you understand how to play them, as long as you understand their power spikes, as long as you understand their combos and stuff like that. That's kind of the part about it. It's not about just like being easy and willy-nilly. You do have to understand these little concepts, matchups and stuff like that to play those champions ideally well. Next, we have ADC. So, Seraphine. I mean, I already said why. She's busted. Next, you have Twitch. Very, very good champion, especially in lower elos. I mean, you're invisible. You pop out. Hi, it's me. You kill people. It's very simple. He can go AD or AP. There's nothing really else to say about it. A champ's really good. If you can go, it's a champ that goes invisible. As long as you position right. Don't go invisible, pop out in front of 5 players, and be like, it's me. You're going to get exploded. But if you do it right, you will pick up free kills. Just roaming's insane. Just go from bot lane to mid lane, kill somebody, go in the jungle, find him, kill. He's very, very good at just getting free cheese kills, and that's why he's so good, because cheese usually excels. The only issue is if you do climb like that, you might be in some trouble if you don't understand how to play the game, because eventually it's not going to work the higher you go. But I still think it's a very, very solid champion. His team fight's really good as well. I mean, he's just really, really good. And then next we have Jhin. 100%. Easy to play, a lot of damage, snipes from across the map, helps the team from across the map. I mean, what else more is there to say? The champ is just really good for how easy he is to play. He can snowball hard, he scales well. I mean, he's just really good right now. Then the honorable mention that we have is Sivir. Now, the reason why I call this an honorable mention is because you do have to know how to play Sivir. I see a lot of players trying to play Sivir, and they're not good, and then they suck. You have to know how to play Sivir. So that means you have to pay attention to your range. You have to pay attention to your Q, your W, your ult. You have to pay attention to everything. But if you can play that champion, she is really, really good right now. But you have to know how to play her, which is why I put her at the honorable mention. She is not a champ you can just pick up and just do well on. It's not like that. It's not going to work. I promise you. Last but not least, we have support. So first, Seraphine. You know why? Because she's broken. I mean, you guys figured that out right now. By now. She's broke. Next, we have Senna. Always been broke. I mean, always. But she has really good damage. She's very good at poking. As long as you ward up properly, you can definitely be overextended, pushing them to the tower, taking the tower early, getting those plates. She's just very, very good at what she does. She has a lot of ability to CC the target. She can hide everybody in there if they're getting attacked by autos. She has a movement speed. She has a slow. I mean, the champ's really, really good. Again, though, if you do overextend a little bit and you do misposition as Senna, you do die. She's very unforgiving for mispositioning, but the champ is still strong if you know how to play her properly. Very good champion for people who play AD carry and get field support. Just play Senna. It's the same thing. You scale really, really hard. You do a lot of damage, and then eventually you can sell your wards later into the game. I don't recommend this, but if you do really feel like you're the only one that's going to carry the game, and if you get Monster Hunter, not Monster Hunter, it's called something else for supports. But it's where you get less gold and experience. If you're getting that, and you know you're the carry of the game, you can sell your wards, and then you can continue to farm and then put another item in that spot. I don't recommend it, but there are some games where you do have to carry yourself, and you can do that. So you can keep getting more gold into you, because she hard scales. And then we have Nami. Always a good champion. You just have to know how to play her. Empowered abilities, basically. Powered auto attacks and powered abilities. She has a stun, she's a knock-up, she's a heal, she's very annoying in lane. I mean, what more is there to say? She's a very simple champ to understand. Just landing her bubble is a little tricky, but once you understand how to do that and stuff like that, she's good to go. Very good champ. Now, the honorable mentions for support are going to be Renata. Renata is extremely good, but she's hard. Once you understand how to use her, and once you understand how to use her her W, you'll be in a good spot. Her R2, don't just be randomly flinging that out. You have to understand. But if you do understand, if you really do understand this champ, she's undoubtedly one of the most broken champs in the game. But that's a good thing, because you have to know how to play her to be good. I mean, you have to know how to play her to make her broken. It's kind of like Rengar. Rengar's a busted champ, but you have to know how to be busted. She's the same way. So, you have to learn how to do it. And the last one here is Pyke. Again, kind of another champ that's like that. He is pretty busted, but if you are not good, he sucks. Like, you have to be good. But that's another issue, is like, this champ's so good if you're good. And I feel like that's a problem. It's hard to balance that because he's that good. But 100% very, very good. I mean, hooks, invisibility, heals up, stuns. I mean, he can execute people. I mean, he basically is a melee Senna, basically, honestly. That's pretty much it there for this list. If you guys like stuff like this, I can make maybe one every single patch if things do change. If they do some hard nerfs, kind of like they did to Volibear. If you guys would like coaching, like I said, coachblicker.com is where you want to go. Use the code FIRST if you've never been coached by me. You get $5 off of anything that you buy on there. Thank you guys for watching. I do appreciate it. Until next time, you know what I always say. Thank you for what? Approaching this like a coach.